Next series, we are following Chance in his championship run, maybe, here in the round of 16.
Well, we'll see if he has a shot, if he has a an opportunity. I wish I was a better word for that, but yeah, Chance, he's gonna be giving his all right now on Leningrad LE, where of course in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner, we have our Red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He of course is going to be representing Team Super. He is Chance. Not Superk.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Leningrad LE, we have one of the best Zerg players in the entire world representing KyZ Gaming, the blue Zerg. It is Solar.
Has it just been really long light, or did KyZ Gaming change their logo?
No. it's always been the lightning bolt. Yeah.
I know it's always been the lightning bolt.
You mean
but
in game?
I'm talking about the color. Yeah, in game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. They actually
look at that.
They didn't have their logo in game before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they did it for WTL.
Right. Maybe, but I don't think even Dragon Phoenix Gaming has a logo in game.
Yeah, well, maybe KyZ just cares a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
KyZ's doing it right.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. So yeah, shout out to KyZ, shout out to Solar. And I'm really curious to see how things are going to go here. I'm a little bit surprised as well that Game 1 is going to be on Leningrad.
Yeah, things are... well, we said today was going to be a spicy bracket, and so far the games have not disappointed at all. And we'll see if Solar has anything planned in particular for that. It's been a while since we were able to cast Solar. I think the meta shift that happened actually happened in between us covering events that Solar was actually playing in. So I have to wonder how he's adapted to the new meta. He was definitely one of the Zerg players who was very, very, very vocal in the previous Void Ray meta of just hating it.
True.
It's awful.
Yeah. I'm curious as well, because as you were saying, when the new patch dropped, that's kind of around the time when we were bogged down in not just DreamHack, but ANZ Champs as well, and some of these other tournament broadcasts that kind of took priority over ESL Asia. So yeah, I wonder. I would assume that Solar would flourish in this new meta, because he struggled so much against Skytoss. But at the same time, he also relied a lot on Queen Walks, if you remember. and
Now they're nerfed.
Yeah.
Unless you spread creep with the Overlord.
True.
Like a Lord and Savior.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how Solar does here. I assume he's going to perform a little bit better, but we'll see as Chance opens up with the Stargate.
He knows, and the Void Ray, he knows exactly how to get under Solar's skin here.
Yeah, he knows, mate. He knows. So the first Void Ray is on the way. So far, Solar hasn't been able to scout note yet, but he does have Overlords in position. He has the first one here to check the natural base. He also has the second one over towards the right-hand side, ready to dive in as soon as he's able to get speed, whether it's a Pneumatized Carapace or even a lair for an Overseer.
Ooh, are you thinking Nidus?
No.
Would be pretty cool. Void Ray pops out, gets rid of this Overlord, and we don't have cams open right now, Light, but I can still see Solar shaking his head.
Yeah.
Vigorously.
The PTSD is real, mate. It's real. What's important as well is that Overlord actually saw the second unit coming out as well, so Solar is well aware of the Oracle on the way. So spores are being thrown down. Solar is preparing himself.
Keeping my eyes glued on that production tab right now, Light, because we typically don't see just a single Oracle, but that is what Chance is going for here. One Oracle immediately into a Twilight Robo transition.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a ground toss switch here for Chance, which again is currently in meta, is quite popular nowadays. So Solar shouldn't be too surprised about that, but he still needs to scout this in the end. He has this Overlord towards the top left. It is en route. It is on the way. Lair is on the way as well, so it can be morphed into an Overseer if need be to dive on in. And with these Lings, Solar is going to confirm the location and the timing of the third.
Yep, he knows exactly where to send his forces, specifically his roaches here. Try to delay an economy right now of chance.
Exactly.
Surprised that there's no shield battery here, but I guess it doesn't really matter in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the shield battery would have saved that one. Oh! Shield battery would have saved that one Adept, but did end up going down in the end. Meanwhile, that Overlord is on a mission. It has been avoiding that one Void Ray for so long, and now it is actually going to get in and actually going to get a scout off.
Wow. What? What a legend. This one Overlord is. He's a complete ninja right now.
Yeah, the one Overlord who could, mate. He goes in, he sees the timing of the Templar Archives. With this, he's well aware of the potential for Archons, and he should be able to see everything else here in the main. Up!
And he's got to be pretty relieved right now, seeing the Archon instead of or the Templar Archives, I should say, sorry, instead of any Robo Bays or anything. The Disruptors are very much an anti-roach unit, but Archons, not so much.
Yeah, we'll see how Chance does here as he's coming in with a bit of an Archon drop. He morphed in those High Templar immediately as soon as the Templar Archives was done, and he's going to be going into a more charged out Archon composition, which can do well, but as you said, has less kind of firepower or less kind of less explosiveness to it as Disruptors.
Literally and figuratively. Yeah, Charged Archon could definitely work really, really well. Have the charge lots get on top of these roaches who really don't do too much against charge lots, and then have the Archons clean up any Lings as a follow-up, but that's very heavily reliant on positioning right now. All Solar really needs to do is force Chance to fight in an uncompromised position.
Yeah, like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure Solo's feeling pretty comfortable right now, you know, getting a 4th base up and running, droning up as well, pretty heavily. He has a decent roach count, so that the Archons can't really do much of anything at all. But this is what I was waiting for. Like, it did feel as if this army was missing something, and Chance is indeed looking to get into Disruptors.
Yeah. Right now, you know, filling up his gaps with a couple of Immortals just to be able to deal with the roaches, but eventually gonna get those Disruptors. Solar, meanwhile, I thought he was just making, you know, the obligatory Swarm Host, but no, he's actually going for a Swarm Host composition.
Wow, I saw the infestation bit earlier as well, and I was like, yo, it'll be so smart if he goes straight into a Hive and straight into Viper, so he's ready for the Disruptors, like, well ahead of time. But nah, mate, he's going for Swarm Host instead. And with our Archons are okay against Locust Waves, but not so much Chargeless, and this is spotted by the Observer.
Yeah, super important right now. Super important scout right now for Chance. He needs to make sure that he has his Archons together to be able to get the maximum splash damage on top of these Locust Waves. But very good target firing is coming out from Solar. Immediately, one of those Archons gets taken down. And he forces Solar to fight out in the open here.
Yeah, and he was looking to try and dive on top of those Swarm Hosts, but the Roach Ravager is here as well. Solar has far too much firepower, far too much supply protecting these Swarm Hosts, and he can just send out another wave. And now Chance is on the back foot. He needs something more to help deal with them, whether it's Storm, but it's a little bit too late for Storm as well. It's going to take so long to research. He comes in.
The Disruptor is here! And that was a good enough split though from Solar, only losing one Swarm Host in the end there.
Yeah, unfortunately, one Nova doesn't kill a Swarm Host at full HP. The second wave comes in, dives on top of the army, gets a full surround here on the army of Chance, and Solar is just going to clean this up, mate.
Yeah, the juggling is good, but there's only so much a single Warp Prism can do. A very good Purification Nova, but Chance is going to need a whole lot more where that came from.
Yeah, exactly. 2 Disruptors are not going to be enough. The Lings are flooding in. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1.
Well, okay, I guess the result here on Berlingrad was about what we expected. I wasn't expecting Swarm Hosts.
Yeah.
To be honest, Light.
I like the response. Because he recognizes how little, like, splash damage is going to be. He recognizes that, oh, okay, you're going for an Archon drop, which means, you know, Storm is going to be a little bit delayed as well. You're not really going to have an answer to these Swarm Hosts. very, very smart play there by Solar.
It absolutely was.
Very unexpected.
And we're going to be continuing to a bit more of a standard map. I was gonna say, will this trend of really small maps continue here, and will Solar take absolute advantage of that? But no, we are gonna be continuing to 2,000 atmospheres, and I'm gonna keep my eyes on Solar once again. I want to see just how he adapts to this meta.
Yeah. Like again, when it comes to swarm hosts, I feel like I should reiterate: swarm hosts are very they're very niche when it comes to utilizing them in StarCraft. Period. So there's a time and place, and specifically they're on Berlingrad, especially because it's such a small rush distance. You don't need Niduses to kind of move them around either. Like that was just really well done.
Yeah. They're a situational unit, and that was the exact right situation to use them. And so we're going to be continuing our series on 2000's Atmosphere. Happy birthday to Enema of the State, that album of Blink-182. As in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner, we of course have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He of course is going to be representing Team Superk. He is Chance.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player himself representing KyZ Gaming. It is Solar.
So we saw Swarm hosts. Are we thinking infestors?
There's a time and place, Yaku. There's a time and place. Oh,
that
God.
time is the 2000s.
And that time is now, okay? Oh, God. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I feel like more often than not, we need to be looking at the Protoss player as to what he does, right? Of course, Zerg being the more reactive race, and I'm sure if he sees an opportunity to go into faster infestors like Solar, he will do it.
And that opportunity is now. Well, he's still building a spawning pool.
Well, yeah.
Now's the time.
Regardless, I appreciate that game one. I'm sure Chance. I mean, to be fair, I'm sure this was like a bit of a learning experience for Chance as well, to recognize that potentially that was Solar's response on a bit of a smaller map. So it's I feel like still well worth it here for Chance.
Yeah, there's definitely an opportunity here for him to take a map, and potentially the map after this. It's just unfortunate that I'm sure he wasn't expecting the Swarm host to come out either. It really threw a wrench in his plans, but I guess we could say that he... well, I don't want to fault him too much because it was Berlingrad, but, he's going to have to be a bit more vigilant when it comes to figuring out what Sol is doing.
Yeah, like, I don't blame him for opening up a little bit in a bit of a different manner, right? Going for going into Templar Archive and going into an Archon drop that way is itself kind of like not standard, not usual for the Protoss player. So I doubt we're going to see that again, I'll be honest. And to be fair, Protoss, they do have quite a number of different builds they can go for. They can go for a more standard Glaive Adepts, they can go into Blink Stalkers as well. All of this can be done off of the Stargate.
And for the time being, that's just about what he's going for as well, Void Wraith. Opening things up, Solar shaking his head even harder this time.
My question to you is, Yaku, as a Protoss player in Game 2, after you clear up this Overlord, do you just say, screw it, throw down second Stargate, just
as a Protoss player?
Try and go Void Ray anyway,
I mean, that's what I do against Solar. Just, just to tilt him a little bit.
Just to win the mental battle.
Be a little bit annoying, yeah. I may not win the actual battle, but it's a morale victory,
Oh, God.
Although that could backfire when he, knocks out my door in the middle of the night.
True. Similarly to last game, the Void Ray is going to clear up that Overlord. It's going to stay here defensively to take this fast third base here for Chance. Behind this is going for an Oracle. The Oracle doesn't have to stay at home because, that's what the Void Ray is for.
We see... this is a little bit different from Chance now, isn't it? He didn't go for the third base quite as quickly as he did on Berlingrad.
And it makes sense because Berlingrad is so small, it's so short, like it's really risky to take a fast third base there. Ling run-bys are going to hit you so quickly, so Chance is going to be able to get, or he should be able to get away with this a little bit better here as the Oracle slips in, gets an eye on the timing of the lair, and even gets a drone.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there aren't these spore crawlers here, but at least there are queens, so they are able to chase this. They are able to chase this Oracle away.
Yeah, Solar kind of cutting corners here. He only got a spore at his natural base. He was relying on his queen to defend his third and his main, and to be fair, he did, but not without losing 2 drones.
Yeah, not the biggest of deals, but yeah, not ideal either. Solar has droned up though. He's hit that 60 worker mark, and that's just about where he's going to stop for the time being. It's producing nothing right now but Lings, Roaches, and Overlords.
Yeah, and Chance is doing it again, by the way. He's going into a Templar Archives from that Twilight Council, not, any kind of upgrade like Blink or Glaives, and he's going for the War Prism. He wants to go for the Archon drop.
Interesting choice here, and I do feel like he's going to be able to get away with it a little bit more this game. I say that as an Overlord is slowly creeping its way into the main base. Battery overcharge being popped to keep that one Adept alive.
Oof. Yeah, it looks like it will in the end. The Lings aren't able to overpower, but mate, here comes the second wave, and the overcharge is about to run out. No, he's going to get surrounded. Oh.
Yeah, so just waiting a little bit to for that battery overcharge to run out. Here comes the scout once again, and immediately once he sees that Templar Archives, Solar starts preparing his roaches to be as big and as effective as they can be. Yeah. When I say as big, I mean the roach army, not the actual roaches themselves. They're still safe size.
They getting swole, mate. They're getting ready. Here we go. The Archon drop is on the way. I like this response more here by Solar. So game 1, he went for a Swarm Host. Here in game 2, on a larger map, he's looking to go into Mutas. The Mutas will shut down the Prism, and they can dance between the bases. They can hit those mineral lines. The Mutas, they got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a risk to try to fight them when there are Archons out, but like you said, like he's not looking to fight these Archons at all with the Mutas. He's just gonna be dipping around the bases after dealing with this War Prism.
Exactly. Meanwhile, decent micro here with these Archons. Chance able to keep both of them alive. He shaves off a couple of units, got a Queen, a couple of Lings as well, an Overlord, whatever he can. The goal here is for Chance to keep Solar at home, and he will keep the ground army at home where he should. Oh, as the Roach is going for a counterattack. It does get spotted though.
Yeah, this really should have kept the Roach army back home, but Solar is fearless. Okay, now he has a little bit of fear. Now that he knows. It's not so much that he was fearless, it's more that he was, kind of ignorant of where the army was at.
Yeah, he does find the Prism in the end. He is here chilling at the third base. 12 Mutas are on the way, by the way, and unfortunately, Chance has still not scouted that Spire.
Yeah, Recall is on the way right now, and finally he knows that there are Mutalists coming his way, but his mineral lines are a little bit defenseless, as is his natural wall. The Lings slip in, and thankfully the Warp Prism did recall to the main base, but still, this is a very major distraction right now. It's really splitting the attention of Chance as Solar is looking to push into the main army.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. We have a massive Roach army, massive Muta Cloud as well. Solar getting close to maxed out. Bearing in mind that, of course, this is inflated supply because of all these Roaches, but still, this is going to be a massive push. Can a Chance even hold as... Oh, he already loses the shield battery here at the natural.
Yeah, looking at the positioning of the Mutas and Roaches right now, Chance should be able to clean this up eventually, but not without taking a ton of losses somewhere.
Yeah, he's trying to keep up. What's dangerous is he's being pulled out of position. There are no shield batteries here, not even at the natural, not at the fourth either.
And this is the perfect position right now that Solar wants to fight in. Does he have the right army, though? He decides that he doesn't. So he pulls away after picking up a couple of units here and there.
Yeah, the Phoenix is coming as well. Looks like they're going to be focused down. The Archon's pushing and dealing so much damage here. The Immortal as well. Solar trying to force himself up the ramp. I don't know if this is really going to work out for him. It's not.
That it will not. Maybe if he was able to deal with the War Prism and prevent some of the juggling, but even then, with Defender's advantage, Chance should have been able to defend anyway. Solar doesn't take a particularly efficient trade here, but doesn't matter that much in the end because while this fight was going on, Solar, he was getting a 5th base. He was droning up once again. He's got that late game, or early late game, I should say, 80 drones worker supply that Zerg typically wants to be at.
Yeah, like, I don't blame Solar for fighting there because I would have taken that fight as well. Like, again, there was no static defense to support the army, and he was getting surrounded. Like, Solar was coming in from 2 sides, but he never got up this ramp. This choke point helped Chance out so much.
Yeah, it's not really here to help him out once again, but yeah, to be fair, Solar isn't looking to fight too much here. He's just looking to clear up some roaches so he can get more mutas, more lings.
Yeah, meanwhile, the mutas, they dive into the 3rd base. They kill every single probe here, even take down the Phoenixes as well. GG gets called, and Solar does it. He takes the series 2-0.
He didn't even need to follow that up with a push. I mean, at that point, Chance just realized he didn't have the units he needed to deal with that apocalypse of mutas. He was going to get starved out no matter what. And with that, Solar takes that series and will be advancing to face... He doesn't have an opponent yet, but it's going to be either Nightmare, Sue, or Classic.
Yeah, GG, well played. I was very impressed with Chance's defense of the first wave, I should say. It was very impressive. But unfortunately, he wasn't quite in position to deal with those mutas, right? Because they got out of control there at the 3rd base. Like, his main army was defending his 4th, which is great and all, but he lost so much at the 3rd. It was far too much to recover from.
Yeah. All of those probes, everything else, and yeah, I think even in the initial fight as well, when Solar was trying to push up a ramp, he targeted down a ton of Archons too, not Immortals, and so that, it was another thing not going Chance's way when the Mutacloud rocked up, and yeah, very nicely done here for Solar. It looks like with the new meta, he is kind of thriving.
Yeah, definitely. Like, now that Protoss players are going for more ground-based compositions, a lot of Zerg players have a little bit more freedom to kind of, do other things, to try out other builds. So yeah, it's really cool to see Solar thriving a little bit more here, having a little bit more versatility available to him as well. Man, he's looking good.
Yeah. See if he's going to be able to continue this and take this to GSL, which will be coming back next week.
True. That it will.